My goal on this channel is not to make any African of an African trying to explore their own continent breaks my heart.
They do sing as giving them a high of family.
What's going on, world? Welcome back to T3 and Me. It's your man Tim Ford Jr. here, and I'm here with my beautiful wife, Mrs. Siobhan Ford. Welcome, Mrs. Ford.
Asante. Salama, family.
Yes, salama, salama, karibu, everybody, and welcome to all of the new subscribers who are joining us on this journey. Welcome to the channel, you all, and to all our old subscribers. Thank you all for being tuned this entire journey. Thank you for the love that's been sent our way. We thank you for the prayers. We thank you for the support. We thank you for the well wishes. We don't take it for granted that you guys are watching our content and showing us love. We're extremely grateful for it, and we're grateful that we're bringing you all value. So, you know, like you all saw in the beginning of the video, there's some things that go on over here. Well, first, before I go any further, I want to first commend our brother Wode Maya for using his platform to really shine light on, you know, some of the things that we have to deal with as we try and travel and try and visit different countries and see things over here. Yeah, repatriate. Yeah, how we have to endure different things within different borders and different immigration offices. So, man, first, shout out to you, brother, for taking the chance and really shining light on this. I know how difficult it probably was for you to upload that video and sacrifice your platform, brother. So I want to commend you. Yeah, it's a sacrifice, because if you here in Africa, well, here in the world, if you shine light on things that people don't want you to talk about, you know, they could make some people mad. They could.
The people want us to talk about it, though. It's only the people that's benefiting, which is a small percentage.
Yeah, that's true. It's a small percentage. But yeah, you took a chance and you shine light on something that needed to be displayed. And brother, we are here to really sort of back you up on that and really add clarification from our perspective as well. You know, we've had to deal with it. We've known people that had to deal with it, and we saw in the video that we had some of our elders within our African American community. They was there standing up for you and you know, speaking on our behalf. So it's only right that we use our platform the same way to come and, you know, sort of shine more light on the situation and really speak for some of the people on our side and really show, like, you know, this is something that we really need to work on and really like heal from.
Yeah, we've touched on it before in past videos. Like, immigration is like one of the key issues that diasporans, whether that's, you know, Americans returning back to Africa, people from the UK, people from the islands, all over the world who are returning back to the motherland, that's one of the main issues that people are encountering when they're going to these different countries is immigration. Like, how can they stay long in the country? Is there some sort of dual citizenship or a citizenship pathway or a residency pathway? Continent-wide, you know, in the Gambia, you have the Black Sid over there. She's fighting to set up the right of return, the right of Africans who were stolen and kidnapped from the continent of Africa and shipped to all the various countries of the world for them to return as Africans. So this is a ongoing fight. And it's not just relegated to just Americans or diasporans who are facing these issues. Continental Africans also face the same issues when they're trying to cross throughout the borders or go visit various different countries in Africa. So it is an issue, and I'm glad that Wode Maya spoke on it from the African point of view, because you always hear African Americans talking about it, the immigration issues, we all know about that, the visa issues, and you know how that can be a challenge, but you rarely hear the side of Africans speaking on it as well. And that's where the unity is key. When we unite and we become one voice, we're powerful. Yep, exactly. And like she said, we've been, man, our people on this side have been beating the drum for the past few years, like, hey man, this immigration stuff is not, this is different, it's not right, what's going on? And now to see somebody within platform from the continent to speak on it, it's like adding more fuel to it. And now we're like, of course something is going to come from it, it has to. Just to kind of give like a little background on the situation, I'll just speak from the point of African Americans, but this is for anybody in the diaspora who identifies as an African or of African descent. But when, you know, like African Americans now, like we have this love and this like romanticism for Africa, and like we feel like we're part of the culture even though we may not even be there. Like we love Africa, you know. We understand that we are Africans, and when we go back to the continent, we're thinking like, oh, all of our brothers and sisters are going to embrace us, we're all going to be one happy big family, like one big black happy family. And then there comes I ain't gonna say a reality check, but it kind of puts things into perspective when you get here on the ground and you realize that, oh, like I don't speak this language. You know, like especially like if you're, let's say Tanzania for instance, the official language of Tanzania is Swahili. So if you come over here and you're coming from America and you're speaking English, you're going to be perceived as a Mzungu, which is Swahili for a European, and that's regardless of skin color. And in America they have us like so confined to our thinking, like we think of things in terms of black and white, everything is in terms of skin color. But around the world globally, they don't look at things in terms of black and white, they look at things in terms of tribes and nations. Like even you have Russia fighting America, they're both technically white people, but they're completely different groups of people, and they understand that. And in Africa they understand that too. There's tribes, people identify themselves based on different tribes. So if you come to Africa and you don't speak Swahili, they're going to perceive that you're a foreigner. Basically, you know, if you don't learn the language, you're going to be perceived. Language is the culture. It's intertwined here in Africa, all over the world. So if you want to be accepted by the culture and be perceived as a fellow African, the African way of thinking is if you learn the language, you're my people, you're my brother, you're my sister, if you know my language, if you know my culture. But if you come speaking English, I can't understand you, you can't understand me, you're a foreigner as far as I'm concerned. And in the scriptures it talks about how Israel, they couldn't exact usury or overcharge their fellow brother, but that law didn't pertain to the foreigners. So when they see you and they hear you speaking English, you're perceived as a foreigner, even though you may have the exact same skin color as them. So,
you know, the key is to learn the language and be at least try to learn the language. And of course, we see now even knowing the language, being on the continent, is like it's still barriers that you have to cross with knowing the language, but it's about being able to communicate your side of the story. Like if you're able to speak the language, maybe you can hit a key point within your story or within our story as a people that they don't even have information on, because a lot of them don't have access to the same type of information that we have access to, so they don't even really understand the full scope of what we've been going through and why we coming back at everything, and what all transpired before we even came back over here. So if you can speak the language and they can understand, like, bro, I'm your brother, like, listen to me, I'm talking to you in your language, I'm telling you my story, so hear me out and feel me and stop this bribery. Like, you got to be able to meet them where they're at. You can't talk to them crazy in English and expect them to be understanding. Of course they may get it, they may feel you after a lot of talking, but if it'll be a lot easier if you're, you know, in the language and able to tell your story within their same language, and then you can be able to pull on the empathy, and they can feel where you're coming from because they understand you.
And then outside of that, another aspect of this whole situation that we find ourselves in with immigration and just like with the whole uniting of Africa is the borders. The borders are a big issue. We know that these are artificial borders. These borders were put in place by the colonizers in the early 1800s as part of the Berlin Conference, where they got together and strategically divvied up Africa, and they divided us by language and by artificial borders. And so now that we can kind of understand what they did, we can undo it. So the very thing that they messed up is a solution for our problems, collapsing the borders. There's a big movement now. There was a push before, but I feel like it's resurfacing now, like for Africa to unite and to collapse the borders. Because what the borders are doing is that when one African goes to visit another country, the person at the immigration office, they perceive that other African as a foreigner. They don't perceive them as their brother because they don't, for one, they probably don't speak the same language. That's the main thing. We don't speak the same language. You have a different passport or a different visa that says you're from this country, so you're a different person. I can overcharge you because according to the scriptures, you're a foreigner. So I can get what I can get from you. You know, so we have to look at the spiritual side of things as well when we're dealing with these issues. So collapsing the borders, uniting under one language will like solve a lot of these issues that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
The right of return, I do think that needs to be pushed quite heavily. Like Africans who were stolen, who have lineage dating back to Africa, who were transported through the East African slave trade or the transatlantic slave trade, they should have the right to return to Africa. Policies should be put in place for us to return.
Yeah, it's common knowledge at this point. This late in the game, 2023, we know about all the slave trades we've endured. There's people coming back to different countries all over the continent that's advocating for the diaspora all abroad. So, you know, the message is out. The time is here, really. We are returning back, and like my wife just mentioned, it's important that we have policies in place to make it easier transition, a smoother transition for those returning, because it wasn't a willing going away. It wasn't a willing, you know, our people didn't willingly go over there and sacrifice and think there would be greener pasture. That was taken and stolen.
Yeah, and if you're your brother's keeper, which we all are, most of sub-Saharan Africa is Christians. We have Christian values. So if we're our brother's keeper, then we're responsible for the return, the safe return, and the immersion of African Americans, UK black people, Caribbean black people back to the motherland.
Yeah.
You know, it's all our collective responsibility to heal and to look out for one another, because if Africa as a home base, it doesn't prosper and doesn't unite, we're finished. Yep. You know, and we know that that's not going to happen. Prophecy is that we will unite and that we will succeed and be a superpower once again. But there's a process that's going on, and it's muddy, it's ugly, it's beautiful all at the same time. Like, there's a lot of different moving pieces. A lot of things are going on. Their kingdom is falling, like the West. They're being taken over by AI and technology, and Africa has a different trajectory. We're building the kingdom here. We're uniting here. And these things do need to be called out and rectified. And that is a huge thing. Bribery and the immigration issues is a huge issue that we all face as returning diasporans. Yeah. And it's something that we've had to deal with, because we can't just go and run down to the government officials like, hey y'all, like, change this. But we can use our voices and talk to the right individuals and use our platforms to bring solutions, you know, not just to get online and say, oh, this, that, and the third. Like, yes, we know the problems. Like, now, what are the solutions? Yeah.
You know, just like in the video that Wode Maya posted, there's older women within our community over here on this side, and they've expressed the same type of things that they had to deal with. Not even just older women, younger men, older women, all types of people have had to deal with those type of things. So like my wife said, just use your platform and go to strategic places and talk about these things and make your voice be heard, basically. Like, we're using our platform right now to talk about it and shine light for the people in our community who've had to deal with this type of thing. So, you know, unfortunately, it's something that we have to deal with, but like with what we're doing, we're definitely going to get through it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So just know, if you're planning on visiting or coming to Africa or any country for that world, if you speak a different language, you more than likely will be overcharged. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And it's not right, but it's just something that's going on, and we just be cognizant of that when you return. So let's talk about some solutions for how can we overcome immigration issues? How can we unite? How can we make Africa, navigating, traveling, visiting Africa, make it easier and less stressful and more peaceful for those of us who are returning, those of us who are visiting, and those of us who are living in Africa currently. So there's a couple of things that are going on. Some things take time to build and for things to come into complete fruition, but there's a couple of different projects that are going on in Africa that will contribute to resolving these issues that we're facing. So number one is, as we spoke about earlier, is learning the language. Whatever country you're going to, look up that language and learn that before you go there. Now, if you're visiting, that's a different thing. But if you're planning on repatriating, definitely learn the language of the country that you're going to. We think that at some point, Swahili will be the official language of the entire continent of Africa, because it is the most widely spoken language to date. So it will make sense to just continue on with that. It is the official language of East Africa, but we think that at some point it will be the official language of sub-Saharan Africa.
So you'll do yourself good to learn Swahili, even if you're trying to do business and not come here. Like, if you want to be able to have that connection, get that Swahili under your belt. It'll help you a lot.
Yes. So the second thing is, there is a free trade agreement in the works, underway right now as we speak, that will allow for the free movement of goods throughout Africa. So that will help in uniting Africa. That will help to tear down the borders and help to tear down the effects of colonization, of us thinking of each other as foreigners as opposed to thinking of each other as our brothers, and being able to interact and talk and move freely amongst each other. And the uniting of all of Africa under one language is also another prophecy where he talks about he's going to teach us the pure language. So it's coming, y'all.
Yeah, the free trade agreement is something that'll be able to really, you know, they talked about in the video how business is like a tunnel. Like it's just funneled into certain people with certain status and a certain, you know, way of being already. If you're not born in it, in most cases, some people can't tap into it. So now with an open market, anybody with a good idea, with something that they have of value, will be able to show that to anybody within the continent, and it'll be able to get to them. So that's going to be able to help so many people level up in a way where they'll be able to understand things and see the world in a different way as well.
Yes, and Africa, with the free trade, Africa will be able to be more in control of its resources, because right now some of the practices that are going on the continent don't make sense, and it's actually costing Africa a lot of money, like producing raw materials and shipping them over to Europe and China for them to process it, only to sell back to them at a higher premium. That's crazy. We need to open up manufacturing plants and get the raw material ourselves, turn it into value-added product, produce it, distribute it, manufacture it. We need to control that whole entire process and distribute it amongst the continent, because there's countries here where they're exporting goods and stuff from Europe and other different Western countries when they can just get it directly from the continent at a fraction of the cost. It's organic. You're supporting the local people. It just makes sense.
Yeah, and we're getting there. We're getting there.
Kidogo.
Little by little, y'all. Little by little.
The third thing is the Continental Highway that they are currently building, that is going to travel all throughout the entire African continent. So that will make it easier for people to travel, to trade, to go and explore different African countries, to reunite with their long lost relatives. It will do a lot in uniting the continent.
Yeah, that would be I'm definitely looking forward to it. You can drive all the way from the north.
Yeah,
northwest,
right now you can drive from Ethiopia to South Africa.
Yeah, a straight shot. So imagine the different places you can see going through that. I'm still like wrapping my mind around being on a different continent. Like, we so used to being in America, one country. Now we're able to see so many different things and see so many different hills and valleys, and it's just, I'm looking forward to seeing it once the time gets right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, number 4 is the East African community. So right now there's a confederation between some of the different East African countries. So last time I checked, it was Ethiopia, Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya. And I believe Ethiopia was set to join as well. And so they have this united community that they form, where they are going to be trading amongst each other, doing business together, investing pipelines to transport natural gas and different raw materials back and forth to each other, and to just overall invest in the economy and the infrastructure of East Africa. So that's another thing that's going on that will further unite the continent. And the countries that are in that confederation, they have adopted Swahili as the official language. So that will go a long way in uniting us as a people.
Yeah. So learn your Swahili, y'all, and listen, have some patience. And all these different movements and things that you see going on, see which one is something that you can put your energy into, and see what you can help push forward, so the voices can continue to be amplified. It's not just about sitting on on YouTube or watching our videos or any video and not using your power that you have to organize and put yourself in the position to do the best that you can with what you got to help move this forward for us as a people. If it's sharing a video, if it's connecting people with each other, if it's sending a video somewhere, or advocating. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was agreeing.
Yeah, so, take advantage of what you can do with where you're at. Anything can help move it forward. Whatever you're capable of doing, we need it. So make sure, just do what you can do. Don't think nothing is too small to help the movement move forward.
Yeah, and organizing strategically in the different countries to put together chambers of commerce and different unifying bodies where African returnees can group together and really advocate for us who are returning. So the 5th thing is, we spoke about it a little bit earlier, but it's collapsing the borders. The borders are artificial, especially sub-Saharan Africa. These borders are all made by colonizers. Man. And we know that these borders did not exist prior to them being here. So we definitely need to support the movement to dismantle the borders.
Yeah, even the Kenyan president said, he was like, man, what we're living under, what we're living in right now was put in place by some people that's not even here. And like, look into the Berlin Conference, y'all. We have the knowledge and we have the power to change things ourselves now. We're in a position to where we can set up things the way that we see is a benefit for our people as a whole. We don't have to still live in the confines of what a group of people told us to live within, as we see how their world turned out with the rules that they put in place. So it's high time that we think for ourselves, you know. It's high time for it.
Yeah, there ultimately, inevitably, will be needs to be one African passport for all people of African descent.
Yeah. At some point, it'll get to that. You know, we keep doing our part, and we're the generation. We're using our platforms, and we're doing what we can do to keep amplifying the voices. I saw somebody comment under Wode Maya's post, and they said, under his video, what did she say? The next generation won't have to deal with this. Yes. Like, they won't have to deal with the borders and all of the mess that we have to deal with. So I take pride in knowing that, you know, we're a part of something that's going to change the way that our children and the Africans after us will be able to move.
Yeah, we are definitely the generation that's going to usher in a lot of change, a lot of forward momentum, a lot of upward trajectory on the continent. And yeah, man, it's amazing. Like, even though like it's mess going on and like stuff that needs to be dismantled, like I can already see like the end result, you know, like the fall of their kingdom and the rise of ours. Like, of course, there's a lot of stuff we got to clean up. Like, it's been a lot of mess going on this continent. Like, we got to do a lot of sweeping and cleaning up house and cleaning up shop. And those of us who are traitors among us and who don't have our best interests at heart, they got to go. The policies that don't have our best interests at heart got to go. There needs to be anti-bribery policies all throughout Africa. We stayed in Rwanda for a brief moment in time, and Rwanda should be like the model for like anti-bribery in Africa, because it's not tolerated there at all. Not once did we get asked for any money by the police or overcharged for anything. Like, I'm not saying nobody in Rwanda ever overcharged, but it's a strong anti-bribery policy that is in place there now under the current leadership. And that needs to trickle down throughout the continent.
Because one thing we learned that we've been noticing is, honestly and truthfully, the immigration officers unfortunately are shooting themselves in the foot and
trying to get a couple quick dollars.
Trying to get a couple dollars. They're messing up the entire country, because you're running away investors that could be here long term, that could be here really. They're trying to be here and build and help this country move forward. Like, literally, majority of the people that come here that are like us, they're really genuinely
love Africa and want to be here,
happy to return, just need a little help getting stable and getting in a position so that they could elevate properly. They're just coming over here with their last and the hope, and they really want to help and partner and try and build with Africa. So, you know, like, y'all can't keep shooting yourself in the foot and running away the investment dollars,
especially for their brothers. Like, we're all Africans, you know, at the end of the day. We speak different languages, but we're all Africans, you know. And one of the other things is Ghana. If we look at Ghana for a model of how they turn the returnees returning back, they make the immigration process is much easier. After they had the year of return, they made almost $2 billion in tourism from African Americans. 2 billion, 2B would it be, returning back to Africa, going to visit and reconnecting with their roots there. They were able to generate a lot of money for that country, and now they're furthering on that process. They're now granted citizenship to African Americans, so you can get your Ghanaian citizenship there now. You can also get your residency there as well. So let Ghana be the model. Let's take the different policies from these different African countries that are good, implement it into different solutions that can be applied continent-wide. The other thing I wanted to mention was that the African Union currently recognizes the diaspora as the 6th region of the African Union. So we do have a unifying political body on the African continent. We just kind of need to harness it and really use it to our advantage. So I know there's people there that are currently working with the 6th region. I'm not sure what policies or what programs they're working on right now, but if they can be a voice to amplify what they're doing, that would be great as well, for individuals to get involved in that, to push that forward.
Since we're here, got to show y'all some of the products real quick.
This I'm not your body, baby. I'm not your body.
Yeah. Natural product.
Not your body.
Yeah.
Not your body.
Yeah. Say, yeah. Come closer. Come. Busy beachy. There's so much work to be done in so many areas, you all. We just need, everybody to be bold enough to stand in their position and stand in their lane and push this thing forward, y'all. Be willing to sacrifice. Be willing to sacrifice and do something powerful, because we need all hands on deck. Everybody can't be a YouTuber. Everybody can't be a videographer. Some people need to be in these offices, in these rooms, having these conversations, advocating, making the connections on the ground, being boots on the ground.
The policy makers, the lawmakers, like where are all those people at? Like we need y'all here on the ground, not in America. Y'all need to be here because it's people that you're gonna meet here. You can run into the president of the country here, the mayor, a top official just in your neighborhood. You know, like you need to be here on the ground and really get things done. Only so much can be done from the lands of our captivities. Ultimately, we need to be on the ground to really facilitate the change that we need as we return back. The last solution is changing the poverty mindset, because ultimately we know that this bribery stuff that's going on, this overcharging stuff that's going on, it's a result of poverty, the mindset of poverty. We've been strategically put into poverty by the powers that should not be, that don't want to see us prosper as a community. They want to keep us down, because when you have a servant class, then that automatically makes them the wealthy class and the ruling class. So you need to have somebody that you can subjugate. And so people are just thinking about how they can feed their family, how they can get a quick dollar, how can they pay for this. You know, usually there's not a lot of jobs in these African countries. You have to come and create your own job, your own business. So you have to be entrepreneurial minded. You really have to like have self-discipline and all that type of things. And some people are still in that poverty mindset. And so they can't see opportunities where we can come over here and see opportunities, because we come from a system where we built the countries that we went to, and we just have a different eye. We can see opportunities and mess. A lot of times from the different shows we watch, you know, like Fixer Upper, rental properties that you can renovate and turn in, like different things you can repurpose and DIY projects. So we kind of have like that spirit about us. We had to make something shape because they didn't give us anything. They sent us out of slavery with nothing but the clothes on our back, if that. If that, you know, so we had to make something shape. We had to be entrepreneurial minded. We did. And so some people, they have not reached that level in life, and a lot of people are in extreme poverty, you know, don't have lights, water, running water, things we take for granted. We're living good over there compared to them. And I'm not saying it's an excuse for them, but we just need to be cognizant of it, and we need to be vigilant when we're warring against that spirit, because remember, everything is spiritual as well. And so we just need to be cognizant of it and call it out and understand where it's coming from. It's a spirit. It's not coming from a nefarious place. It's coming from a spirit of, I'm hungry, I need to eat, and this is an opportunity you're a foreigner.
for me to eat. You're a foreigner. So no love lost. You speaking some English, I need this extra money.
Or a different African language.
You're not from here, I need some money. So I need to get it from you. This is my chance. So, you know, that's why it's going to go back to language. If you're able to convict them and let them know in Swahili that they're operating with the spirit of poverty, they're operating with the spirit of corruption. If you can tell them in Swahili, oh man, you know, that's gonna be a game changer. If you could be able to,
you're gonna piss some people off, but it's
the truth piss a lot of people off sometimes. But if you could say that in the language that they can understand and let them know, like, bro, this is not right, then you'll be able to stick with them and be able to let them know, like, that's not the proper mindset. We talk about it all the time, how poverty mindset is something that, you know, that you have to really fight and get out of. Fortunately for some of us, we come over here and we've escaped it, or we're in the process of escaping it. But some people don't even know that it's there. They don't even understand what mindset means. What is mindset? So imagine trying to tell somebody about their mindset and they don't even know what mindset is. So, you know, being in the poverty mindset is something that we have to have grace with and understand we was once there at some point. And how would you want somebody to talk to you and let you know that, you know, you tripping? Some of us can take it. Like some people need to be talked crazy too and be hard on, but you got to understand the individual and be able to know where they're at and their strength and weaknesses. So, get that language under your belt and know the poverty mindset is something that we all had to deal with as a people worldwide.
Yeah.
It was put on us strategically to keep us at the bottom worldwide. So if you tapped into another level, have grace and know that everybody haven't made it there yet. So,
some people are really living hand to mouth, like living off $4 or $5 a day.
Yeah.
And so that's why they're doing it. It's not anything against you personally, necessarily. It's just, I see an opportunity for me to make money, and it's wrong, and it needs to change.
Yeah.
And so, in addition to learning the language, because sometimes people will take advantage of you in your own country, just like you said, poverty mindset is a poverty mindset. If they see that maybe you have a little bit more money, or there's something that they can take from you, people who are in a poverty mindset operate in that low frequency and that low vibration. So in those instances, I would say to look into the other solutions that we talked about, invest into the other solutions, the Continental, the Highway, and some of the other projects that are going on between the different countries. Push the different solutions, like learning the language, collapsing the borders, uniting under one language, uniting under one passport, uniting under one visa. Like all of the things that we know that we need to do in order to unite and to move forward as one nation and one people, one love.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, do all those things and put yourself and us in a better position as a people. We can't keep allowing people that hate themselves to control, how we move as a group and as a body as a people. Mm-hmm. We need the people that have self-love and the people that understand this assignment, understand what we're doing. We need to continue to amplify our voices. And, really, you have to shine light and shame the people who are operating on the frequency of self-hate.
But be wise, though, because if you're repatriating somewhere, it's a way you can do it. Yeah.
I shouldn't use the word shame, but really just shine light on what they're doing in a way that's constructive. And you can teach them a better way.
Solution-based.
Exactly.
Yeah, be solution-based. And whatever you do, whatever reprimand or whatever way you feel like you need to amplify or help the situation or bring light to the situation, just be solution-based.
Yeah.
And sometimes that calls for you got to get angry. You got to get riled up. You have to raise your voice. Sometimes it comes down to you need to write a paper or invest, put some money behind something. Or whatever it is that you feel like you need to do, be solution-based in that.
Yep. There's several opportunities and several places and ways to do things, so pick what's best for you. Use your gift and make room.
Yeah, and if we work as a collective, we can force the transformation that we want to see. So all it takes sometimes is just one voice, 2 voices, 3 voices, and then the next thing you know, it's 1,000 voices, it's 1,000,000 voices. And so the grassroots is where we're really going to see change. Boots on the ground is where we're really going to see change. So get involved in the movement, y'all. Do what you can to help free and unite the continent, and be solution-based.
And have some faith. If you're, under the sound of our content, watching this right now, we're all about faith and moving when it's dark sometimes, and knowing that there's greater at the end of the tunnel because we were called to usher it in and put it into fruition. So, it's going to be muddy, it's going to be choppy, it's going to be some days where it looks very intimidating, but we still have to remember the promise of a united Africa, of one Africa, and us, really putting that into fruition. We're the generation that's going to do it. We're the ones that's going to have to stand strong and be bold and really let the world know that this generation is here, and it's time for them to really get in order and see like it's time for us as Africans to stand up and step into our order and our power. It's time. It's long overdue, really.
Like Bob Marley said, Africa unite, because we're leaving out of Babylon. We're leaving the lands out of our captivity. So share the video that Wode Maya did. We'll post the link down in the description box. Share this video. Get the message out. We've done other videos talking about immigration issues throughout the continent. That's like the major issue that's going on within the diaspora as far as repatriating, challenges that they run into because of you have to pay a lot of money or whatever it is, some sort of red tape that you got to get through to be able to stay long term. So share these videos, get the message out. Let's work together. And things are changing. The winds of change are blowing. Like I know it's a lot of mess going on, but it's a lot of good, beautiful things going on the continent as well. And eventually that paradigm will die, and this new paradigm will rise.
So If you're a light bearer, if you know you're one of the people who's supposed to be bringing positivity, stay strong. Standing in this environment,
hard.
yeah, it's hard.
It's a lot of negativity.
It's a lot of negativity. Not a negative darts.
Yeah.
You got to deal with all this immigration stuff, all these people, all these negative
your
people.
Own people
your own
coming
people.
against you.
Yeah, it's a
saying
lot.
This. Yeah.
It's a lot. But ushering in the light, ushering in a kingdom like this takes a lot of work. So stay strong in your work. Stay strong in what you're doing and be encouraged. And I hope you got a strong partner by your side. Because this is, this is one of the most important things that you need to have is a good, a good wife or a good husband.
And Wode Maya just got married too. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations
to you and your wife.
Maya.
Yeah.
Yeah, so make sure, you got a good partner on your team as you fight, whoever you are. If you got, somebody, you're not single, but if you're in a relationship thinking about it, maybe this is a conviction to let you know that it works better if you're a strong unit, if you have
especially coming to Africa, you can't. It's easier to do it with a partner. Anything in life is easier to do with a partner.
It's easier, but it's not just easy. It's not a cakewalk.
No, it's not
still
easy.
Work.
Easier.
Keyword. Yeah, just do it.
Oh, my butt hurt.
Let's
wrap this video. Sorry, y'all. I'm sitting on
do a massage, y'all.
Stool, a wooden stool. So,
but yeah, y'all get a wife, get a husband. Well, husband, find your wife and propose to her and put yourself.
Woman,
in a
don't
position.
find no husband, please.
Don't
go
husband.
Be getting down on one knee now.
Don't do that. That's not
a good trend that they started.
Yeah.
But
yeah, if you made it to the end of the video, we appreciate it. Thank you for staying tuned. If you made it this far, you're possibly thinking about coming to Africa. If you're thinking about coming here to East Africa, Tanzania, we offer a Swahili course to the people here who are looking to repatriate or just come over here and do business. We have a 6-month course that will allow you to learn Swahili long as you're focused. As long as you put the work in, the blueprint is laid out. We have a teacher in place so that you can learn Swahili. So come and join us. This cohort starts February 6th. There's still time to join us. We'll put the link in the description box for you to join us. And, Karibu, which is welcome in Swahili. So welcome to that.
Also, if you need some help repatriating, you want to come back to Africa, you felt the call and you want to come back, we do offer a repatriation consultation. So there will be a link in the description box and we'll tell you everything that we will help you with in that link. So go check that out. Also, if you need an herbal consultation, if you're dealing with some sort of illness, chronic disease, something that you need to heal your body from, I am a clinical herbal practitioner. And so you can come and book a consultation with me and I'll go over a series of lifestyle measures, dietary measures, and herbal supplements that you can take to help heal your body and reverse any chronic ailments that you're dealing with. And we also have Repat Book, which is a community of repatriates online. We kind of say it's Africa's Facebook. So you guys can definitely feel free to join us on there. And then lastly, if you guys want to advertise on T3andMe, the link to book an advertisement slot is in the description box below.
And lastly, she forgot that she has a herbal course that she has out as well.
I didn't say that?
No, you didn't say that.
Oh man, that's a lot.
Yeah, right. We got a list to go down. But yes, she has a herbal course for those who are interested in learning how to create their own business and also make all natural products just without even creating a business. She has the course in place, and the next cohort will be starting with
the end of March, I believe, or beginning of April.
Yeah. So if you're interested,
pre-enrollment will be opening up soon.
Yeah, a pre-enrollment will be opening up soon for that. So if you're interested, the link will be in the description box for everything we just mentioned.
And follow me on Instagram at @Fords_herbal for more information on herbs and the herbal course.
Karibu Sana, welcome y'all, and like I said, if you made it to the end of the video, thank y'all for the love. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and share this with somebody, and stay encouraged if you're coming over here. If you haven't started your journey yet, just know you may have to deal with something at a border, unfortunately.
Be familiar with the immigration issue, the immigration laws in whatever country you're going to. It's not that you can't stay at all. It's just that it's quite tedious to stay. Like with Tanzania, for example, you have to leave every 3 months to come back in on the tourist visa. But you can get the residency permit that'll allow you to stay in the country for 2 years. But the issue is that some people don't have the funds because it can be anywhere from like $500 to $3,500. So just familiarize yourself with the immigration laws before you come and before you start traveling throughout the country so that you know what you're getting yourself into before you come. Do your due diligence like Travel Bruh said.
Yeah, do your due diligence. Make sure you're prepared and, have some thick skin if you're coming over here paving the way for somebody. But if you come in later, it's going to be greater later. But if you're paving the way, have some thick skin, have the mindset and know we got to fight. in this season. So be encouraged and stay strong, y'all, and shalom.
Shalom.
Repatriation is Africa's first social media platform steered towards repatriates, also known as returnees to the motherland, in every country of Africa, as well as diasporans in America, Canada, the UK, and all four corners of the earth who are considering making the journey to freedom. It is a space where we can chat, earn money simply by being active on the site, and all of the features we are already familiar with from Facebook and WhatsApp, without having to sell our information and minus the censorship. For all continental Africans, repats in Africa, and persons who wish to come to Africa, this is our place to build, learn, network, problem solve, unite, innovate, and educate ourselves for a smooth transition into our rightful positions as we break away from our captors. This is the place we all knew we needed. By consolidating our energy, we can force transformation. This is the drum. If you're interested in joining the community, click the link in the description. Karibu.